This recipe is really all about the eggs. I've got 5 eggs, room temperature, and I've separated them. I've got the yolks in my stand mixer, and I've got the whites in this bowl right here. And I am going to whip these egg whites until I get to about a soft peak stage, and then I can start adding some sugar. So I'm gonna get these started. Okay, now I'm just gonna check these out. And that's soft peak. That's a little bit more than soft peak. But once it kind of falls over on itself like that a little bit, you know you're ready to start adding the sugar. So I've got a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and I'm just gonna lightly rain the sugar into the egg yolks, and we're gonna beat these until they're stiff and glossy. That's what you want. See how they're still nice and shiny and glossy? I'm gonna put these to the side, and I'm gonna get started on my yolks. In the bowl of my stand mixer, I've got 5 egg yolks. I'm gonna fit this with my paddle attachment. Into this, I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. You wanna whip your egg yolks with the sugar until they become a really beautiful, pale, creamy yellow, and they're gonna double in volume. And you wanna do this on about medium speed. All right, now that looks good. Kind of a pale yellow, creamy color, and you've whipped the sugar, a little bit of air into those egg yolks. Because this cake is really about getting as much air into both the egg whites and the egg yolks as possible at the beginning. So now our next step is to combine our egg yolk mixture with our egg whites. This is really the secret to making a great sponge cake, is making sure you fold the whites into the egg yolks really carefully. So the best way to do this, I'm just gonna use a rubber scraper or spatula, whatever you like to call it. My mom always called it a rubber scraper. So I'm gonna take 1/3 of the egg whites, nice and messy, into our yolks. And what this is gonna do is lighten up this egg yolk mixture, because right now, these egg yolks are heavier than the egg whites, and we don't want them to deflate, just over and under. So now we wanna put the rest of our egg whites into the yolks. And what I like to do when I fold is really make sure that I'm scraping the whole time, really getting underneath the mixture and literally folding it over. So it's kind of, gotta put your elbow into it, gotta put your wrist into it. Now it's time to put it into our pan, and I've prepared a 9-inch springform pan. I've lined the bottom, the removable bottom of the springform pan, with some parchment paper, locked it into place, and then buttered both the paper and the inside of the pan. And in goes our batter. So now all you have to do is put this into a 350-degree oven for about 45 to 50 minutes, and you're gonna know the cake is done because it's gonna resist just a little when you press it down, and it's gonna be a beautiful light brown color. This tres leche cake calls for a pint of whipping cream, and you wanna take your pint of whipping cream, take 2 ounces of it, set it aside, put the rest in the bowl of your stand mixer, or you can mix it with an electric hand mixer if you want to, but just make sure that your beaters and the bowl are cold. I've got my cream all whipped up here, ready to go. I put in about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and now I'm gonna get the 3 milks ready for my tres leche cake. So in here, I have the 2 ounces of whipping cream that I set aside, and to this, I am going to add 12 ounces of evaporated milk, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. And this always looks so good coming out of the can. It's so sweet and creamy and delicious. What we're gonna do next is the fun part. We wanna pierce this cake full of holes. So this is always my favorite part. And when my friend Erin and I were making this the first time, we had quite a giggly girly laugh over poking this cake full of holes. I'm very easily amused that way. I am going to take my milk mixture and I'm going to douse this cake. Oh, it looks so good. I know it seems like a lot, but it's called sponge cake for a reason, right? It's gonna really soak all of this liquid up. Sometimes you kind of gotta swirl the cake a little bit to kind of get it all up in the top like that. Look at this. I mean, this weighs about 10 pounds. This is a heavy cake, but it's going to be so, so delicious. So on top of this, I'm going to put the cream that we've whipped. You don't even need to worry about sweetening the whipped cream. If I can get a pillowy, heavenly looking dessert like this just covered in whipped cream, I'm a happy girl. And that looks just great. This is all you have to do. The trick to serving this, because it has all of that milk inside, is you want to make sure that you use a nice serving spoon. This is not the kind of cake that you can cut with a knife and eat with a fork. And this is great. You know, this is kind of a messy little dessert. You don't have to worry about serving it just perfectly. Ugh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? I think it's perfect. I'm Shauna Sever, and I'll see you next time.